Welcome back, rebellious generals. This is the Battle of Manassas, or Bull Run, depending on your point of view, in the CSA campaign on Legendary difficulty. Please be aware that Colonel, Brigadier General, and Major General difficulty levels all share an AI profile. Legendary has its own profile. Generally speaking, anything that you see me do in Legendary should also work in the lower difficulty levels. However, due to the aggressiveness of the Legendary AI profile, you may find that the AI on lower levels doesn't act the same way. We captured 5,345 troops at Newport News. That gives us 1,724 additional recruits to add to the 2,500 we were awarded for winning the battle. That brings my recruit pool up to 9,860, and I need to create 4 new units for Bull Run. Kemper and my avatar took fewer than 100 casualties in the battle, but Siegfried had 155. Part of those casualties were from Siegfried getting into melee twice in Phase 1. However, my big mistake was leaving Siegfried's skirmisher to trade fire with the AI's dedicated skirmisher. Here you can see that all 3 of my detached skirmishers had 135 men as the fighting started. About 25 minutes later, Siegfried's skirmishers are down to 73 men, and nearly all 62 casualties were from that dedicated skirmisher unit. My avatar's brigade was the most expendable at Newport News, so once the AI dedicated skirmisher moved forward to engage, I should have either aggressively attacked it or swapped positions with my avatar's skirmisher. Turning to prepare for Bull Run, I put my second point into medicine. As mentioned in the Newport News video, I will keep Siegfried and Kemper together, but I also want to avoid fielding units with no stars. So I spent some time tinkering with my options before finally settling on a configuration that I liked for Bull Run. I have 70 veterans after Newport News. With an average of 34.6 to their stats, they are solid 1-star troops. However, with so few of them, I need to get the best use out of them. I hired Colonel Buckley and Lieutenant Colonel Naylor from the Academy, assigned each a division. Don't worry about using lieutenant colonels in your division command slots early on. They'll level up to colonel within a few battles, and the minor efficiency penalty that they may get isn't really an issue this early. I hired Colonel Myers from the Academy and gave him Preston's cavalry. Myers has enough officer experience to retain the 1-star for the unit. I will give him some veterans a little bit later. By replacing Preston, I am giving up 1 battles led bonus for the cavalry unit. I'm creating a video to deep dive everything that you need to know about how brigades and officers gain experience, so I don't want to get too heavy into the game mechanics here, but I want to give you a quick overview of what's happening. Let's use Kemper as an example. Kemper is a full bird colonel with 68 officer XP towards becoming a baby general. The unit has 79 XP towards getting its 2nd star. The experience bar is actually the sum of 3 different elements or segments. The base experience points are determined by the unit's stats. As the unit earns points in efficiency, morale, stamina, firearms, and melee, it gains experience points. This will be the largest segment and independent of the officers. The second segment is a bonus to unit experience based on command. Command is determined by both the division and the brigade officer's rank. Higher ranking officers increase the command level. The third segment is another bonus to unit experience based on battles led. Siegfried is also a level 68 colonel, the same as Kemper. However, since he has no battles led bonus when placed in command of Kemper's unit, the unit XP drops to 74. So in this case, the battles led bonus is worth 5 unit XP when Kemper is in charge. It would be more beneficial to keep Kemper in his unit than replace him with Siegfried. Now I put Preston in command of Kemper's unit. Even though Preston has no battles led in Kemper's unit, the unit experience jumps up to 82. His experience level as a brigadier general has a high enough effect on the command level to be greater than Kemper, having led 2 battles. Imagine how much more experience the unit would have once Preston has 2 battles led. Battles led bonuses are beneficial, but don't think that lower level officers with battles led are better than higher level officers. Now, I'm not leaving Preston here. I just wanted to show how unit stats, the command level, and battles led bonuses all work together to affect total unit XP, and that battles led bonuses are not the end all be all to getting unit experience. I created Cabell's artillery battery with 6 ordnance rifles and then added 2 more guns with 50 of the vets in my pool. I give him an improved shells perk. I gave Siegfried the last 20 vets from my pool. The unit stats of my avatar only average 21.2, but that's high enough for generals to use to create 1-star units, so I disbanded my avatar's unit. I then formed 3 new infantry brigades with my avatar, Preston, and General Hobson from the academy, 1 each with Mississippi's, 55 Springfields, and 42 Springfields. I hired James Archer with reputation points and gave him a carbine cavalry unit with 59 carbines. With 1,330 veterans in the pool from disbanding my avatar, I then added vets to all 3 of the new infantry units until they got their first star. Since my avatar has the most experience, he required the fewest amount of vets, and Preston needed the most. I increased Kemper and Siegfried up to 1,400 with the vets. I also added 2 more guns to Cabell with veterans. I then alternated between giving the new infantry brigades veterans and recruits until they reached 1,400. I distributed the remaining veterans between my cavalry units, but I needed more weapons, so I sold all my rebores and a few of the 42 Springfields. I had to settle for Archer's cavalry getting some veterans, but not enough to get a star. I'll try to use him sparingly and not in heavy fighting. So reviewing the army that I'll take to Bull Run, Buckley has the 1st Division, Siegfried has 75 unit experience, MJ&Gs, and a melee perk. Kemper has 76 unit experience, Mississippi's, and an accuracy perk. Myers has 4 unit experience, Colts, and a melee perk. Cabell has 1 unit experience, ordnance rifles, and an improved shells perk. Naylor has the 2nd Division. My avatar has 1 unit experience, Mississippi's, and an accuracy perk. Hobson has 0 unit experience, 55 Springfields, and an accuracy perk. Preston has 0 unit experience, 42 Springfields, and an accuracy perk. Archer has 92 unit experience, 59 carbines, and no perk. I'm not taking any supplies. The AI received a core reinforcement of 12,500 troops. The AI army is at the default size with 18 to 23% in training and 16 to 21% in weapons quality. The AI will be bringing 36,066 troops and 86 guns. I will have 19,009 allied troops along with 40 guns, all before unit splits. Adding my 2 divisions gives me a total of 27,290 troops and 50 guns. Breaking it down further, the AI will have 10 infantry brigades, 3 dedicated skirmishers, 6 artillery batteries, and 3 cavalry squadrons, totaling 22 units. Assuming 20% unit splits, it should get 4 to 5 additional units, bringing the total to 26 or 27. My allies will bring 12 infantry brigades, 4 artillery batteries, and Stuart's cavalry unit, totaling 17 units. 20% unit splits will provide 3 or 4 more units, for a total of 20 or 21 on average. As I mentioned at the start of Newport News, achieving a favorable outcome in Phase 1 sets the stage for the rest of the battle. I may replay Phase 1 several times, then never replay the other phases of the battle. I've seen players handle Phase 1 in several different ways with varying degrees of success. I prefer to eliminate the forces on the other side of the river and then position my force to be ready to move up to Henry Hill and join my allies. Trying to stand my ground here after the phase change tends to cost me too many casualties. I want to cross the river and then let the AI burn itself out, charging across the river to attack me on top of the hill, then flank and reclaim this area after it's weakened. Siegfried and my cavalry will cross the ford to engage the AI forces. Preston will handle the rear guard with some of my skirmishers. Hobson will start by defending the ford. Kemper, my avatar, their skirmishers, and Campbell will defend the bridge. The fortification isn't a horrible position, I just don't like how close it is to the bridge. It encourages the AI to walk up and concentrate fire on whoever is in the fortification. Similar to Newport News, I like to position my defenders further back so the AI has to come closer before it can hit me with small arms. The AI scouts have moved off, so my first concern is handling the 1st Ohio. The 2nd Ohio was split. Hopefully the 1st Ohio moves close enough that I can surround it and take it out quickly. That unit is twice the size of mine. With the 1st Ohio pulling back, I'll send Siegfried across to pursue. Evidently, the 2nd Ohio doesn't care to help its fellow Ohioans. I wouldn't mind charging the 1st Ohio if the 2nd Ohio wasn't close enough to fire on the melee. Maybe the 2nd Ohio heard me and is getting out of the way. So much of these battles comes down to timing, wanting to be aggressive enough to take advantage of your opportunities, but not so aggressive that you leave yourself vulnerable. The 1st Ohio is covered by the artillery and the 2nd Ohio, so I need to keep waiting, but I can damage the detached skirmisher. Maybe the 1st Ohio and 2nd New York will try to cross the bridge. That would leave the 2nd Ohio 1st Brigade and the 2 artillery batteries open to attack once Siegfried gets into position. I like that the AI can see Hobson because it might decide to go for the long charge up to him. So here comes the 2nd New York. I need to wait and see who he's charging. Now the 2nd New York is in trouble. I'm going to attach Siegfried's skirmisher to improve his condition and morale, and then detach him again. Now I'll press the artillery batteries and see what happens. The 2nd New York is on the other side of the artillery, so I'll attempt to charge through the guns to get to him. This might be a bit too aggressive for my smaller cavalry units. However, the rest of the AI infantry are occupied at the bridge. Captured both batteries and the cavalry units are still charging. I will move Siegfried up to attack the other infantry brigades. I will try to clamp the bridge down like a vice and eliminate all the infantry brigades. The 2nd New York shattered, so my cav units are free to move up to the 1st Ohio. Only 2 left. Kemper and Siegfried can head back across the bridge. I hate being out in the open with the AI's dedicated skirmishers and cavalry up here. So I'll try to strategically withdraw to the south to prepare for the phase change. If the AI cavalry charges, I'll try to take them out. I need to be vigilant when charging here because without good spotting, the AI skirmishers can pop up out of nowhere. I'm looking good for the phase change. I've done enough damage that the AI units won't be right on my butt while I'm trying to move up to Henry Hill. I need a minute to assess what I have with my allies and move everyone into position for the defense. I would have preferred a split on the artillery over the infantry here, but I can't complain on the roll that I got. The split infantry will be a little light on size, but at least there's plenty of them. I like to let the allies defend Henry Hill while my guys provide support. I need to send a few allies to the east to see if Sherman and the boys are coming from that direction. There's Sherman. I will use the AI flanking force as an opportunity for Siegfried and Kemper to pile up some experience. A couple allied units will be tanks to absorb fire. The rest of my units and allies will handle the main body of the AI army. Porter and Howard are charging, both with good-sized units. Hampton's Legion is routed. I need the 2nd Virginia to hold together. Okay, I'm good here for the moment. Howard stopped. I don't know why Ricketts artillery thought it would be a good idea to cross the ford there. Ricketts only has 180 men left. I'll see if my skirmishers can take him. Kemper has almost 1,300 kills already. Siegfried only has half that, so he has some work to do. Well, I wasn't paying attention, so Hobson's in melee with the AI cavalry. You guys get your butts back up here. I eliminated the 1st and 2nd Ohio and the 2nd New York infantry brigades. Keyes and Sherman were the flanking force. Porter and Howard have been here for a while, and Wilcox is laying back. But that means Franklin and Burnside are out there somewhere. Hobson, you weren't supposed to chase after him. Alright, Burnside is up on Matthews Hill, and Franklin is coming up with McDowell. Franklin is now charging Preston. Stewart's a little outmatched with the 2 AI cavalry units, so I'll back him off a bit to protect him. Johnston is a little late for starting the counterattack, but he can help me clean up. I haven't been pressing really, just taking what the AI wants to give me so far. With Wilcox and both of Key's brigades here, I will get my right flank moving so my other corps units can start getting some more experience. Burnside is the last healthy infantry brigade for the AI. The 27th Virginia may be in a little bit of trouble, but Johnston's other brigades are starting to arrive to reinforce any of my allies that break. I'll send Myers after the artillery, but I would like one of the allies to get close enough to tank volley fire before charging with Myers. This is something that you'll see me do often in battles. When adjusted for size, skirmishers take the least damage of any unit type, so you'll see me push them forward to absorb hits before charging with my other units, because I prefer the enemy to be reloading when I charge, and not delivering a point-blank volley at the last second. This worked out for Myers here because the guns were still pointing the other direction, so I didn't have to worry about him getting hit. I'll push Bonham up to tank shots so my Avatar, Preston, and Hobson can come up to fire. Sherman has surrendered. Kemper has over 2,100 kills. Siegfried has 1,300. I will get the 5th Virginia into cover so he can tank longer before routing. Cabell is up to 630 kills. I'd like to get him a few more. I'm just harvesting XP for my 8 units now and trying to track down the last of the AI cavalry units that's running around. Since the stamina unit stat primarily increases from movement, the morale stat from time in battle, and the firearms stat from reloading and shooting, it is beneficial to make your battles last as long as possible if you're trying to maximize experience gains for your brigades. Quick and decisive battles are fun, but you actually gain less unit experience from those. The AI cavalry recaptured their artillery battery, so I need to get him off the field before he rescues anyone else. Archer's doing all right for only having 325 horses and no perk when the battle started. He has 600 kills. Timer ran out. No full clear for me today. Oh well. I had 216 men killed, 641 wounded, and 93 missing. Including my allies, I lost 19% of my army. The AI lost 28,141, which was 74% of its forces. Myers with 1,224 kills and Archer was 617. Cabell had 676 kills. Kemper with 3,033 and only 81 losses. Siegfried had 2,147 and 59 losses. Remember, Siegfried has a melee perk, so he isn't as accurate when shooting as Kemper is right now. My avatar had 1,500, 1,000 for Hobson, and 800 for Preston. Naylor is one of the division commanders, so he made it to colonel. Weapons recovery netted almost 6,042 Springfields and 12 12-pound howitzers. Enough weapons for me to add 4 more units for ambush convoy. We got almost 2,000 extra recruits from the prisoner exchange. Both Siegfried and Kemper earned their second star, so that was a success. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time watching today. I hope you found something useful for your campaigns, and I wish you much success, generals.